welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Kay Murray, Alejandro Moreno and Stevie Nicol here in the studio. Lots to look forward to with the weekend ahead, and we will start with the Manchester derby. It's Manchester United hosting Manchester City at Old Trafford on Saturday morning. City currently chasing leaders Arsenal at the top of the table. Manchester United fighting to try and get into the top four, and now they have Michael Carrick back on the bench as interim manager. Let's welcome in Julien and Nedum to talk more about this. Before we say hello to them, though, we thought we'd bring you everybody's predictions.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I wonder if the guys are all agreeing on this one. It turns out they are, all except for Dan Thomas, who's gone for a 2-2 draw here.
Where is, I'm sorry, excuse me, where is Kay Murray?
I don't do predictions, LA.
How come? Is that on your contract?
I'm neutral.
What?
No prediction from me. Let's stay clear from this one.
I guess you're special, though.
Nedum, I'll start with you then. No new manager bounce with Michael Carrick coming back for you.
Well, there could still be a new manager bounce, but I still think City are going to win this game. I think City's form has been, obviously they've drawn a couple of games, but I think it's 13 games unbeaten now. And I think that win against Newcastle midweek was a good sign for them, being able to rest a couple of the more senior players who could have a big impact in this match tomorrow. But I'll be honest with you, as a Man City supporter, I hate derby days so much. From having suffered through the 90s, spending 3 years not even having the derby game because City weren't in the Premier League, to now knowing that across these last 20 years or so, to a certain extent, it doesn't even matter whether City are higher up in the league than United, because these derby games bring out at times the best in United. But I think on this occasion, I'm leaning towards City, and that new manager bounce fully can start after this game.
What does Michael Carrick need to do with what he's got to try and get something here?
Well, I think he needs to follow the lead of recent managers and sit tight and don't give anything away. I mean, that I think is what Nedum's worried about, because all the victories and results that United have had against City have been backs against the wall and try and catch them on the counter, get your nose ahead, and then hang on. Unfortunately, this new manager bounce with Carrick, all the talk from Michael Carrick has been about playing football and being attractive and all of these things. And if he comes into this game filling the heads of these United players with that thought about being positive, going forward, making runs, be brave, be courageous, all of those great things that sound good in the dressing room before the game, if they actually go about it that way, then I think they'll comfortably be beaten. And that's what I see. It reminds me of Chelsea-Arsenal during the week, where new manager, Rosinha, talking about playing football, and Chelsea went out and played the football, but unfortunately they left holes. And although it was 3-2, they were thoroughly beaten, and it should have been more. So I can see a similar thing happening with this Man United team, going out, trying to play football, trying to kind of go toe-to-toe, but I think that's a bad idea.
Would it be a bad idea for you, LA?
It would be an awful idea. Awful idea. Manchester United in their best days right now. Take the best of Manchester United. They're still not ready to be going toe-to-toe against the best teams in the Premier League, and we still consider Manchester City one of the best teams in the Premier League. And so, for all the flaws that you may think Manchester City has, they are better at and I'm going to use Stevie's expression, at playing football than Manchester United are. Right now, Manchester United are not ready to do that just yet. So the key to success, if there is going to be success, is defend well, deny spaces, frustrate Manchester City, force Manchester City into predictable passing patterns, put them into areas in which you can pressure the ball together, and then from there create a turnover and get out in transition against Manchester City, because Manchester City struggles in transition defensively. That's the way that I would set up. If Michael Carrick and Manchester United think that they're going to go, again, quote, toe-to-toe, that's not the way they get a result. I just don't see it happening, because they just don't have the tools to do that.
Meanwhile, Jules, Mbeumo and Diallo are back from the Africa Cup of Nations, looking around going, oh, he's gone, has he? Is that a boost for the club that these guys are back?
Yeah, it's good for them to be back, obviously, and not involved either in the AFCON final or the little final in AFCON. It's a different manager, you're right. So they left with Amorim, they come back as Carrick. It's a different system as well, which we haven't really spoken about. But we expect the back four. We expect Bruno Fernandes to play again in his favourite and best position as a number 10. I'm not sure where that leaves Cunha and Ahmad and Mbeumo and all of that, because obviously they signed those players for Amorim in the system that he was playing at. Amorim spent a lot of time with Ahmad, kind of transforming him into a very attacking wing back, if you want. Now, if you play in a more traditional, let's say 4-2-3-1, it'd be very interesting to see who Carrick picks to be the two wide players. We expect Šeško to be the number 9, but that means Cunha a little bit out of position, Mount could be out of position, and Mbeumo probably different to what he played at Brentford, but maybe on that right-hand side, it's actually not too bad. I guess you could put Diallo on the other side, but again, you got rid of wingers because you were playing in the Amorim system, and now you play in a different system where actually you could do with wide players. So, be very interesting in terms of team selection as well, what Carrick does.
Yeah, let me know that recent meetings between the two haven't fared so badly for Manchester United. We know with Erling Haaland, his scoring's been a bit of a concern in just the recent games. Talk about him not scoring from open play since before Christmas. Are these the concerns that you have, Nedum?
No, not really. I think Erling Haaland not scoring for a few games, that at some point will deal with itself. Like, we'll probably get to the end of the season, see he score 30 goals in the Premier League again. I don't doubt that at all. I think some of those draws in recent times, they have been disappointing. I think for me, there've been some of those moments in those games where they've not really taken their chances, and as a consequence, they've been punished, because if your game's not out of sight, then the other team will always have belief that they can do something. But I don't think this derby game itself is going to be similar to those matches of football. And I think Haaland himself, if we're going to talk about his goal scoring, he's got a pretty good goal scoring record against United. Seen him scoring hat-tricks, and for example, I think in his first ever one. So I don't doubt that City can win it. But again, it's like, the new manager bounce, like, I don't necessarily always believe in that, but for Michael Carrick, like, what a way it could potentially be to get things going, for the 5 months he's going to be in charge. First game against Manchester City, he's going to be at the at Old Trafford, 70,000 people screaming for this victory, because I think even to look at the table, like, this is how much things have changed. When last time there was a derby, United were 2 points ahead of City, and now you fast forward to this point and they're 11 points behind. They've had a very, very tough spell in that time. But this could be a great way for them to, get towards that final end of the season, because we know there's no FA Cup, no Carabao Cup, no European football. So these fixtures are right here.
He's a worried man, isn't he?
Yes,
he's a worried man.
Yes, he is. But may I admit something here? A few weeks ago, before the Semenyo transaction, if you will, where he ends up at Manchester City, we had a conversation about Manchester United and Manchester City as to where he should go. And I was sitting here and said, well, he's probably not going to play as a center forward in Manchester City, so maybe he should go to Manchester United. And Stevie, you said, and at that point, we're very clear that if it were you, you would go to Manchester City. I was kind of like, I don't know, with that sort of tone, dismissive as I was. Well, I was wrong. You were right. I was wrong. It's an actual threat on both sides. Winger-type players that can beat defenders from 1v1 situations, that don't necessarily have to cut the ball back so that they can recreate and recycle possession of the ball. That, I think, benefits Erling Haaland. So I go back to the conversation about Erling Haaland. If you have guys that are not predictable in the attack because they're willing and capable of taking players from 1v1 situations, it makes his job easier, because he can now find the space inside the 18-yard box, knowing that somebody is about to get to the end line and cross the ball and put it into a dangerous area. Semenyo has provided that for this team. Stevie, you were right.
Thank you.
So obviously that's going to make Nedum feel a little bit better. I'm about to make him feel a bit worse in a minute.
Well,
Go ahead, Stevie.
you were talking about the new manager bounce, but when somebody like Semenyo comes in, you get the new player bounce in the side that they join. They join because everybody's trying to show him as well what they're all about. And he comes in like a breath of fresh air, is still scoring goals, he's got assists, and so that gives, it's just like a new player bounce. And so it's given City just a lift. And the fact that Guehi's going to be coming in as well. I mean, Manchester City are pretty much on a high right now.
Yeah, let's get to Marc Guehi if we can with you, Jules. Where are we with that?
Yeah, we're finalising the deal. Now he won't play this weekend with Crystal Palace. He won't play again the derby obviously tomorrow, but he could well be involved in the next game. We said, I think since all the injuries, the Gvardiol and the Ruben Dias injury, that they were going to go and sign a centre back, one, maybe even two defenders, maybe one centre back and one a bit more versatile that can play in the full-back position, maybe a centre-back position. Well, the first one of that will be Marc Guehi around the £20 million mark. There's still a few bonuses, I think, to still sort out between the two clubs, which, as we said, on the face of it, you say this is a bargain for a player like him. Considering he only has 6 months left on his current contract, you still pay for somebody who you could get for free in 6 months' time. But hey, you need him now. Palace needs the money, so it makes sense. I think it makes sense from a Manchester City point of view. From a Guehi point of view, it makes sense. Yeah, of course, he's going to play now. Ruben Dias is going to come probably in a month or so. Gvardiol not before next season. So you think him and John Stones, we don't know. Nobody knows, really. So him and Dias will be the partnership at centre-back for between next month and the end of the season, probably if there's no injuries, which is a very solid pair of centre-backs. And then for next season, when Gvardiol is back, then there will be 3 or 4 for 2 positions. But that's the case in every big club.
They absolutely do need him now, don't they, Nedum? Are you okay with how it's all going to play out?
Yeah, I think so. I think Kushnov's done well, Max Delaney's done well, but I think to be able to bring in like a full international at this point in the season, I think is great. Yes, the premium is there and paying £20 million for him, but maybe he would have come in the summer, but the necessity is there now. And I think if they want to be successful between now and the end of the season, then some of the gambles that maybe we've seen in recent sort of weeks, for as well as they've done, like you can't really afford to have that, say when push comes to shove, when you're getting towards March and April time. I think for them to be able to bring in a player like that, somebody that's in their mid-20s, because one thing about City's sort of defenders, some of them, like looking at John Stones, looking at Nathan Ake and the like, they are getting a little bit older than, say, you would hope for to be building a team for the future. But in Guehi, someone who's in his mid-20s, I think it's a great signing, not just for now, but for the future of City as well.
Are you gutted that Liverpool are going to miss out on him, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Gutted that he never went in the summer. Gutted that we're not going to get him now, and won't get him in the next window either. So, yeah, Manchester City with these two signings have basically said that, the one thing I wondered was, are they going to accept that maybe they're not going to win the Premier League this year and they're going to retool again in the summer? And I wasn't quite sure where they stood. Well, they've just answered the question. When you sign Semenyo and you sign Guehi at the back, they're trying to win the Premier League this year, 100%. That's what those two signings means.